Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner podcast. My name is Coach Scott. I'll be your host today. It is Wednesday, April 14th. Hope you guys having a good week so far. Tax day tomorrow, huh? I don't think it is tax day tomorrow. I'm not an accountant, but I think they moved it this year. Someone told me May 15th. I don't know. My taxes are done. Hope your taxes are done. But if not, I think you do have time. I'm not sure. Why am I talking about this? I don't know. Whenever I see like those mid-April days, my brain automatically transfers to tax day. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Ordinary Marathon, ordinarymarathon.com if you want to register. Today we ordered our personalized bib. So for everyone who has registered and put in a name for a personalized bib, you will get that bib. It will be all nice and done for you. If you haven't registered yet, we are ordering extra bibs, so we will be able to send you one, and I believe it will have a blank space. So all you got to do is take a Sharpie, and you can personalize that sucker yourself. When you register, there is still a open space there, so you can fill in what you would want on the bib. We are going to see if we can do some sort of like PDF or something like that. I don't know that it's going to work necessarily, but we're going to leave it in the registration process, so it's still there, and you can still feel like part of it. And then if we can't do it, and you wind up writing it in, so be it. That's fine too. Shirts. We ordered shirts yesterday too. We're moving right along in the process, guys. This has been really, it's been a busy race. It's been really cool. You know, we haven't missed a date yet. We have these solid dates where you have to do things like order shirts, and we feel like a lot of things are really happening this year. Our registration numbers are up. We still have right around a month, a little less than a month, like 3 weeks to go, and I think we're at 72 entries, maybe 73. Which is really good. I mean, in past years we've done the race with 60 something people. So I think, I don't remember exactly what our record is. I think it was in the low 80s, but we're going to be pushing up against that. So head on over there and get registered for the Ordinary Marathon. By the way, we did order shirts. I padded the order a little bit, so there are some extra shirts. So I'm going to leave the shirts up there as well. However, if we do sell out of shirts, I can put in a sort of a back order, a fill-in order at the end. So that you might get, if you order a shirt, that's fine. You're just not going to get it probably until after race day, maybe during the race. It depends when you order. But we will put those in for you and get you a shirt as well. It'll just be late. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. The foundation is doing awesome. The foundation is, we're seeing some really awesome donations coming in still. So thank you guys. I mentioned it on Monday's podcast, and I don't know if some of you guys heard it. And then our registrations for the Ordinary Marathon, we got a bunch of them this week. Very generous people out there. I want to thank all you guys. Well, A, I want to thank you if you registered at all. But B, thank you even more if you dropped a little bit of extra donation in there. It's really going to help us get these programs off the ground, and get moving. And we're so anxious. We're so anxious to sort of move forward. We've got lots of projects, lots of small things behind the scenes. We're constantly busy on this foundation. It's practically a full-time job, but it's only possible because you guys are donating. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Speaking of the foundation, and you can go to ordinarymarathonfoundation.org to make a donation. But our first program, Running for Autism, is up and running. We are now searching for, I've been talking about this a lot, I know, searching for one participant. So we're taking applications. You can go to ordinarymarathonfoundation.org/runningforautism. There is a way you can find it. You could say, you go to the menu, it says Our Programs, you select the Running for Autism program. So you can find it just by going to the website, but /runningforautism. You can get there that way. Again, we're looking for autistic athletes ages 16 to 24 in the Austin, Texas area. And, you're going to get a really, this is a sort of a really intensive project here. You're going to get 5 to 6 months of coaching from Coach Cole Stepro from Outfox Fitness. She is an autism certified coach. We're going to follow you every step of the way. We're going to hopefully help you get to the finish line of a race of your choosing, race distance of your choosing. And whether that be a 5K, 10K, half marathon, full marathon, wherever you are in the training cycle, it is okay. we don't know exactly what race we're going to train for because you're going to work with the coach for a little while. We're going to sort of assess where you are and try to kind of try to sort of foresee how far we think you can get with your, with your training. And then we're going to find a race for you and we're going to sign you up and we're going to walk you every step of the way. You're going to get some running shoes. You're going to get outfitted with Team Ordinary stuff. It's going to be an amazing program. And I encourage everyone to get out there. I know we're only selecting one person, but fill in the application, put it in there. We are going to, by the way, we're going to wipe out names. So we're not going to know anybody. We're just going to look at the application. So we have someone to wipe out the names. And then as a committee, we're going to sit down, we're going to look at the applications and we're going to find the person that we think will best represent the program and us as a charity. If you do not get in, don't worry. Don't worry. A, you can watch the program from the outside. B, if this program is successful, this is going to grow and it's going to expand and you may have an opportunity next year to do it as well. We're hoping to kind of expand the program two ways. Number one, we're hoping it's successful. And we're hoping that we can kind of fundraise off of that success and we can branch out and broaden that program. And so we can take on 2 athletes next year, maybe more. Those athletes may be in the Austin area. We may spread it to different cities, different towns, depending on where the interest is and where we can get some focused people to kind of to work on the project for us and to help spread it. So we need those applications to come in and so we want to get our best pick. We want to find that number 1 draft pick amongst you guys. So head on over there. It feels good, guys. It feels really good getting our first program off the ground. We have had a lot of great feedback from people in the autism community about this program and how it just looks wonderful on the front and how it's really going to help somebody. So man, I'm looking forward to it. And it's really nice to see all of our actions, all of the building, all of the thing. This is like it's like starting the engine of the car because this thing is going to grow. It's going to be huge. And, be it this program or some of the many others that we're working on that we've talked about in recent days and podcasts. Very excited, very excited. And I got to tell you, it's been because we have all these programs and because we've been so busy across the spectrum of things that we're doing, be it with military vets and servicemen, be it with deaf athletes, be it with the kids clinic that Steph and I are trying to put together, also doing programs that we're looking into programs that are going to try to match, sort of like young folks with seniors that are in nursing homes that never get outside to walk or to run, or maybe they can run and they just need to kind of, have someone go and meet them and help them get out, things like that. We're trying to put programs like this together. But we are spread really thin. And because we're a new charity, this is one thing I didn't foresee. And this is kind of like the thing, when you develop these things, you have great ideas. And then it's like you got to just do what you can do, whatever you have time for. On top of that, we don't have, we raised $4,000 or $5,000 somewhere between there. And, it's great and wonderful that we did that. But spreading it over so many programs, it's kind of like we can't hire people to work for us yet. We can't hire people to kind of get in there. So, these are all volunteer people working on this thing in their spare time, and and sort of the board of directors sitting there, like trying to organize it all. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, and it's I've adapted this new sort of time management style because sometimes, and I don't know if you guys have ever done this. Sometimes I embrace this project with wholeheartedly, right? And I think about it constantly. We had one of the things that we had on, we had a motivational speaker. I'm forgetting his name. John Martin come on. And I've said this before. The quote that stuck with me is, there's no such thing as work-life balance. There is only life. And I just think of that, and I just think of this project and how wonderful it is and great it is, and how, man, this is life. This is something I love doing, and I wrap my arms around it. But sometimes still, you sit down at that computer and you say, "Oh, what do I do next? What do I do? What am I supposed to be doing here? What do I need to do?" And so I found that I was like dropping some things and things were falling off, and there'd be occasionally like, I said I was going to produce this thing in a week, and now it's been 3 weeks and I haven't done it. So I decided my little organizational plan was to set up sticky notes with all the projects that I have. And originally there was maybe like 15 sticky notes, at big or small tasks, whatever they may be. But the idea was that if I sat down at the computer and I thought to myself, "Oh, what do I do now?" And typically, by the way, one of the other offshoots of that is, what do I do now? Let's walk around and pace and try to figure out something to do next, and go by the cabinet and pick out some, goldfish or whatever, granola bars, and eat and gain weight when I'm supposed to be training. Instead, now I have all the tasks that I need to do written down right there. And in the past few days, I've been able to kind of half that. There was maybe 15 things to do, and now it's probably down to about 6 or 7. And I think the rest of them, some of them I do. Some of them are continuing projects, so they're kind of just hanging out. Those little stickies are still hanging out. But it's nice to kind of get some of them moved off to the other side, and some of them into that circular trash pile too. And it's been a very productive thing. But what I've realized is, in doing these tasks over, constantly that I lose sort of that picture, that top-down picture. And it's all work, and it's great work, and it's wonderful work. But I lose that top-down outlook. And it's basically like, oh, what task do I have to do next? What task do I have to do next? And you just you're getting things done, and it's good. It's stuff that needs to be done. But you kind of, it starts to become a job. Right? It starts to become a job. And I'll give you, so here's what I mean sort of by, and every one of you guys out there, if you run a marathon, if you run a half marathon, you know what I'm talking about, right? So and you can make, the comparison here is simple. Top-down thinking is, you wake up one day and you say, oh, I want to run a marathon. And then you build, you have to do all the work underneath. You have to fill in to get to the top. Right? So you start out with that big picture. I want to run a marathon. I want to get that medal. And then you build up by training and by focusing and doing all that work to get there. Right? Bottom up thinking is, oh, I'm running. Oh, maybe I'll do a marathon. And you kind of just build it that way. So I think we started with an idea. And now that I've been doing all the work, I've been so focused on the work that I kind of forgot that top-down outlook. Not that I forgot, but it's taken a back seat for a little while. And I had the pleasure earlier this week of having 2 conversations with some very top-down thinkers. And it has sort of revived me. It has revved up those engines. And I want to thank both of these guys for taking their time out of their day. The first one was Todd Beecher. Todd lives out in Colorado. I met Todd through our Thursday night rides. We're going to talk about the Thursday night rides sort of at the end here. But I met Todd through our Thursday night rides. I just invited him sort of randomly one day, and he showed up, and he's been coming here and there. He's been showing up to the rides. He's got a bit of, I think he's got a little training cave with his wife in his house. And I think they both are on Zwift, and they both train. And, luckily he can carve out an hour for us on Thursday nights, and he joins us. So one of the things that I do at the end of our Zwift ride is, the ride is done at 45 minutes worth of trivia. And then the last 5 minutes I usually take and I kind of just update people on what we're doing. So typically it's foundation stuff and ordinary marathon stuff, that they can go and join our discussion groups over at Facebook, stuff like that. Just give them a little nugget, something that if they want to do, they can do. But, by the end of the ride, we've had fun and we're kind of wrapping things up, and I'll give them a little bit of a piece that they can take with them. And Todd kind of noticed this, and he's like, hey man, I can help you out, with maybe sponsoring your race or something like that. I wound up on the phone with the guy for over an hour. And man, it was just a nice, respectful sort of top-down thinking, laying out different projects that we're doing, some ways that he could help me, so he could help the race, and he could help the project, and other ways potentially that we can help him. Although I got to be honest, I don't know that there's a lot of ways there, but the conversation that we had was really. It was awesome because it got that top-down sort of thinking back in my brain. And it was, him telling me some of the projects that he's working on. I don't really want to talk about them specifically because I don't know that they're necessarily out there for public consumption, and they're his stuff. But man, just a great, productive conversation. And I think that he has some products, some like wireless headphones and stuff like that. That he has been involved with companies that, he might even be his own company, that he developed these things, and he's like, here, I'll just shoot you a box of those. You can give them away at the race. Awesome. So, I'm waiting to get the boxes, and then I'll show you guys on the podcast. And obviously you guys will be winning them during the ordinary marathon. So I think that's great. And it's great that we can do that and sort of overlap, just by finding just by finding someone at a Zwift ride, right? Just by doing something that gets people together. All of a sudden you're having conversations that are fruitful. Incredible. Isn't it incredible how that works? That's why by the way, that's why you got to run outside more. Although you could theoretically say if you're doing Zwift rides and you're meeting people that way. Anyway, great conversation. Again, it just revived the engines. It felt really good. Yesterday, I spoke with 30 minutes to Dave McGilvray, who, if you may, the name may sound familiar to you. He's the race director of the Boston Marathon. The last year or two, obviously, they've struggled. They've had some different things coming about with no races. We recently, over the weekend, I signed up for the virtual Boston Marathon. I thought it was very respectful the way they did it. I do understand some people are a little bit sketchy on virtual races. For me personally, I will do a virtual race in my neighborhood, but I will not go tell people that I ran the Boston Marathon because I didn't really go to Boston. I didn't qualify. I didn't do all those things. Now we have Carla and Connie McCollum in the group, who those ladies worked their butts off for years trying to qualify for the Boston Marathon. And they did. They qualified for the Boston Marathon. They were in the race, the Boston Marathon. They even did like a little feature on them as twins for their race packet. The race got canceled. The race got postponed. The race got canceled. Connie and Carla went out and did this race on their own virtually. They got their unicorn jackets, and Carla and Connie, I will give you 100% credit. You may say that you ran the Boston Marathon even though you didn't run in Boston. Me, I have not qualified. I have not raised money for charity. What I am doing is merely supporting a race that is iconic in the American culture, that has had now not just 1 year of cancellation, but now this year they're postponing until I think October. So I will be doing the virtual race in support of the Boston Marathon. That is kind of the way I'm looking at it. Now, listen, I'm not here to tell you how to look at it, but you can look at it however you want. But that's the way I am looking at it. And I felt a little kind of fuzzy and squirrely about signing up for the Boston Marathon when I wouldn't be running in Boston. But I'm doing it as support. I'm doing it as support for the people who run it. And even before ever meeting Dave McGilvray, who I talked to last night for probably about a half hour, 45 minutes, who graciously sat there and listened to me as I explained sort of how we've grown up with the foundation, how we've built the Ordinary Marathon, and asked him for any kind of tips and stuff about how to run the race. And really, he said, I'm listening to your virtual marathon and the things that you've done, and you've put together an amazing event. And the idea for you really is when you get the sponsors in, you have to have the sponsors help get the word out for you. When you get people to register, the people who enjoy the race, the people who do it, they have to kind of spread the word for you. We have been trying to do things like Facebook ads and kind of obviously we do the podcast, we get the word out. But that only goes so far. The idea is you put on a great event. You make a great event. You make people love it. You make people enjoy it. And then you have them do the work. They're going to want to do the work. They're going to want to spread the word. They're going to want to get it out there. So we're going to continue to be consistent. We're going to continue to make the experience really fun. I got a couple more tips from Dave too. But again, the idea was, it was a top-down sort of thinking. It was, man, you have a great race. You're doing great things. People want to get involved. They want to have fun. You have to kind of give them a little bit extra. It seems like you're doing that, but let's look from sort of a top-down picture as opposed to let's order shirts, let's order bibs, let's do the, I'm doing all the work underneath and I'm building it up that way, as opposed to kind of looking top-down. And here's a guy who runs one of the, if not the most prominent race in the country. I'd put it kind of on par with New York, and it's a little bit smaller in terms of people, but I think it's hard to get to Hopkinton. There's not a lot of hotels in Hopkinton, but they do an amazing job there, and it's an iconic event. But anyway, these two conversations that I had me thinking in a more top-down fashion, had me sort of taking a deep breath and going, man, we're here to do good things. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help people. We're here to provide them with, sort of not guidance per se, but a place to come and really, from a running standpoint, become part of a community, and enjoy running and enjoy the benefits that come along with it. And it's not just physical fitness. It's not just personal health. It's mental health, mental fitness. It's getting people together. I mean, geez, I'm sitting here this morning, and I see Chris Myers post something on our Facebook group, and then I see Mike Romans post a comment too. And here's someone from one end of the country and someone from somewhere else, and never met before. And all of a sudden, through Zwift and through our online groups, now they're having a conversation. I think that's awesome, and that's an experience that wouldn't happen if not for the things that we've created here. And I kind of just took a little breather, a little step back. I mean, I'm coaching athletes. We're going to a race in Des Moines, Iowa, with an athlete from Oklahoma and an athlete from North Dakota. And I'm from Massachusetts, and we're meeting in Des Moines, Iowa in a month. 2 months. Sorry, guys. Put the little pressure on you there. But how wonderful is this community and the things that we've built, and how, I've seen it all over the place. I see people that I didn't even know knew each other, like taking pictures at races where they just happen to be doing the same race, and there they are. Hey, let's meet up. Let's take some pictures, and they do it, and it's awesome. And it's great to see. So, it was sort of refreshing to get that top down, sort of vision back. And, so I thank those guys for those conversations that I had. I also thank them for it. That kind of goes back to training too, because I have been in a very sort of, let's say, what's the word? Sort of like just a machine and getting workouts done, get the workouts done, get them done. And I'm losing the focus of, hey, there's a race out there that we have to be ready for. I'm more worried about today's workout and there's a certain place for that. But when you do it day in and day out and you forget the big picture and what you're working towards, you could do things like not be able to fit in your wetsuit. Like, wake up, Scott, you got to fit in your wetsuit in 2 or 3 months. So I gotta adjust my training for that. I got to adjust my diet habits, things like that. But I very rarely think of myself and my own achievements. And I'm always constantly thinking about my clients' achievements and their goals. Which is good, and I do that from a top down sort of outlook. But for me, I don't do it. So again, it was just sort of a tap on the shoulder, that hey, you got to get busy, you got to make sure that you reach your own goals as well. I mentioned Zwift. I did get a workout done Tuesday morning, 5 a.m. We did get up. I got to tell you, it was a workout that I didn't expect to have problems with, and I did. And I'm a little bit nervous about that, and I don't know if it's like a little bit of a drop in fitness. Again, I've been feeling sort of like a little allergy, a little sort of things going on. So maybe it's that. I didn't get a lot of sleep again, which has been just sort of that's been really bothering me. And I'm not drinking a lot of water, which too much of this, guys. Too much coffee. I do coffee like 3 or 4 times a day, and I really need to replace that at least once with water, with like a good amount of water. And really, you should always have water. You should always be hydrating. That's what I tell my athletes, so I should be doing it too. Anyway, Thursday night, then we're going to be doing another workout, a 5 a.m. ride and a 6 a.m. ride tomorrow. So if you want to be invited to that, let me know. And then Thursday night trivia is going to be, when are we doing that? Thursday night. What do you know? And I did want to talk about the Thursday night trivia ride. Because again, I normally think about it from the way we've done it, which has been, it's been a bottom up build. Initially I invited some people that I knew, and we get a few people a week, and it was a little bit fun, and we kind of grow it from there. And at a certain point, I just decided, you know what? Zwift allows me to invite 100 people. I'm going to invite 100 people. And so we'd have our core invite list, and then I would add random folks to the ride. And maybe in the beginning I was inviting like 60 random people, and 4 would show up. Of those 4, maybe 2 or 3 would stick, and they would keep coming back. It's a fun ride. A lot of times you see people coming in, doing the ride, enjoying it, and then not coming back, like being really like participating, and at the end saying, "Oh, I can't wait to do it again," and then they don't come back for whatever reason. Anyway, I don't like the idea of not, if people have participated and people have expressed positive things about the ride, I want to invite them back. And so our little list that started with just a dozen people in the beginning is now up to about 95 people, which only gives me wiggle room for about 5 random folks. Of those 5 random folks, maybe 2, 1, if I'm lucky, 1 show up. And typically now our attendance has been about 25 people on a fairly consistent basis. So we're getting good attendance. But the thing is, we have about 10 core people that show up most of the time. And then the rest is sort of like people show up one week and not the other. But I don't want to not invite them, right? Unfortunately, when I talk to Zwift, I'm trying, again, top-down thinking. I'm trying to build this ride out. I'm trying to kind of get on the map of Zwift and trying to make it an event as opposed to a meetup. There's subtle difference there, but an event is something that's open to everybody, and there's no maximum number of people. Any amount of people can show up and do it. Our USA Triathlon rides that we do the Wednesday workouts, and everyone, I do it like every 5 or 6 weeks. I get to lead it. That is an event ride. So one day we had like 125 people show up to that, which is wonderful. And it can also poach them for us for our ride too. But anyway, we had about 125 people one day. I think the last ride was about 50 people. We had really good weather that day, and I don't blame them for not coming. But, on our trivia ride, we get 25. So my thoughts are, hey, if we can get an event ride, it could be fun. It could be open to everybody. And, there's no limit. We get good exposure for the foundation and for the team. And there's no limit to how many people could join the ride and have fun. And I think people generally like our ride. They really like our ride. So I called Zwift and I talked to them, and they said, hey, you need to get that ride. In order to do an event, we need to see you consistently have 50 to 60 people on a weekly basis. We're not there. Right? We're not there. But one of the reasons we're not there is because I invite 95 people that have, that you guys don't necessarily always have the best attendance record, which is fine. I don't want to pressure you. But one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to go through that list. And if you haven't come to the ride in the last few months, I'm going to drop your name off the list. Now, here's the deal. I'm doing this for selfish reasons. I don't want to do it. It's just sort of, I want to grow this thing. And again, thank you guys for the top-down look. In order to grow, I have to make some strange decisions. And one of them is that we're going to have to thin out this list and backfill it with some random folks. Again, that's how we built the ride to begin with, and that's how we're going to have to do it again. If you find yourself not getting an invite and you want to go to the trivia ride, just let me know. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. Facebook, Scott Rickey, Riecke. You can go to the Ordinary Marathoners discussion group, add yourself there. You can go to the Ordinary Marathoner Foundation page and find me there. You can shoot me over a message on Twitter at Ord Marathoner, ORD Marathoner. Let me know just send me a tweet and we'll get you on there. Any of that stuff. I don't want to not invite people, and it bothers me that I have to. But unfortunately, that's kind of the way it has to work. And I'm apologizing in advance. And if you see that your name comes off, it doesn't mean that I care about you any less. It's actually true. It doesn't mean I care about you any less. It just means that you haven't been coming. So we're going to try to get people that are going to go. And try to grow this thing and try to make it, try to build it. Again, I apologize for that. It feels selfish doing it, but it is what it is. And I do want to put us on the map. And I think ultimately we're looking at something that's going to help the foundation and put the foundation on the map too. And we want to do that as much as possible. So, top-down thinking, I think also take it to your training, man. If you've been just looking at your training day to day and getting those things done and being disciplined, that's great. We talk about that all the time, but every once in a while, take a breath and stop and say, hey, what am I doing this for? All the good things that you have to do that for. Your physical health, your physical fitness, your mental well-being, that race, that awesome race, that accomplishment at the end that you're going to achieve, whether it be for the first time or whether you're looking to set a PR or whether you're just looking to go out there and have fun and have a really solid, productive day at some race of your choosing. Those are all amazing things. The competitiveness, that fire inside you that burns, that keeps you going day to day. Remember that. Take a look at it from that top down picture and what it does to you and how it keeps you on your toes and it keeps you wanting more. Those are all good things. And every once in a while you have to kind of just take a minute and think about them and enjoy it and look at it. Know that you are doing good things and broaden yourself. Get out there, make contacts, have those conversations with people, talk to people, get involved. I tell you, I am not the kind of person that goes out there actively and seeks out new conversations. I don't get myself out there intentionally. I kind of just, if anything, I'm like, oh, another conversation. But man, every time I seem to do it, good things happen. So expand yourself, expand it, get out there, make yourself known, tell people the things that you're doing. I know that marathoners have a reputation for not being shy. But some of us are. Some of us are, and some of us kind of hold that to the vest, to our chest. To the vest. What's the word? I don't even know what the saying is. Hold it close to your chest, but let it out, man. Let us know what you're doing. Have those conversations. Meet people. Get out. Talk to people. Wish them good luck. Pat them on the back when they do good things. And I was going to go right into my tagline, but one last thing that we have to mention. You know what? Forget it. We're not even going to mention it. We'll go right into the tagline. Remember, every day is an ordinary day, unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys.